Hello, my name is Nathan Lowe. I'm a researcher with the American Probation and Parole Association. Thank you for accessing this video for instructions of how to document activity details as part of the study of community corrections staff workload in Iowa. So this will be a short video demonstrating step-by-step instructions for how to complete and participate in the workload study. In addition to this video, you will have access to a guide, a reference guide that will assist you with properly documenting details for each activity you conduct as part of the study. So let's first discuss how you access the time study application. As you can see on this slide, the address to access the application is embedded within the DOC portal on SharePoint. A link is provided also in the reference guide, so you can easily access that. Once you get to the DOC network, you'll click on the Other button, as you can see on this slide. It's on the right-hand side of the screen. There will be a drop-down menu. There, you'll select DOC Web Apps. That will then direct you to a different area. This is the docwebaps.doc.gov.state.ia.us. Here, you'll find a list of options on the left-hand side of the screen. You'll click on the SRR Time Study hyperlink from the bottom of the list. That will then take you to the first page of the application in which you will provide your personal information. So as shown in this screen, this is the staff information section. You'll first enter your unique study ID number. It has been provided to you via email by myself. Please remember that this number is for you only and do not share it with anyone. This is to ensure and protect your anonymity in participating in the study. Then complete the rest of the information, such as what district you work in, your biological sex, race, ethnicity, provide your birth date, your hire date, and job start date. Now, note that the hire date is the date you started working for the DOC, while job start is the date you started working as a CBC staff member. There's also a text box for you to provide any notes. And then when you're finished, you click Save Update to proceed to the activity summary page. Now on this page, you'll be able to view all activities you have documented for any particular day. Your information provided in the previous section will repopulate at the top of this page. For example, the information about which district you work in, your demographics, hire, job start date. Each row on this page represents a previously documented activity. Here, you have three options to proceed. One, you have the option of editing information for any saved activity by clicking on the Edit Hyperlink button, located in the second column from the right in each row. If clicked, you will be redirected to the activity information page where your documentation was previously saved. Two, if you would like to enter documentation for a new activity using the same information for a saved activity, for example, the persons involved, if the activity was associated with an offender, that offender's ID, the method, place, and the system point in which the activity occurred. You would then click on the New with this info hyperlink located in the first column from the right in each row. If you click on that hyperlink, you will be redirected to a blank activity information page with only the aforementioned information repopulated. And then lastly, however, if you would like to enter documentation for a new activity without using any existing information, click on the Add Entry button located at the top and bottom of this page. It's above, top and bottom of the actual activity summary table that you see on this page right here. And there's an arrow and actually a box directing your attention to it now where it says Enter New Activities here. You can click on that button. Now, something else to note is that should you like to edit or just view activities that you completed on another date, as you'll see here, you have the options to do that. And in the middle of this page, there's the calendar icon. You can click on that and select the date, or you can use the arrows left or right to switch between dates. Now, once you have proceeded from there, depending on the clip, you'll arrive at the activity information page. So on this page, you'll be able to enter documentation for a completed activity. And the first thing you'll do is select the date in which the activity occurred. That is, the date in which you actually completed the activity, not necessarily the date that you're actually documenting the details of that activity. Next, you will indicate what persons were involved in the activity by clicking on the appropriate checked boxes. If the activity was associated with an offender, provide his or her DOC ID number in the text box. You can also locate the offender's ID number by clicking on the search button. If applicable to the offender, click on the sex offender or special needs checkbox as well. Then you will indicate the method for how you completed the activity and the place where the completed activity occurred by using the drop-down menus. Note that you can select Other for either one if you do not see the appropriate method or place, and provide a description in the Activity Description Notes text box in the middle of your page. The next step is to indicate the system point of when you completed the activity by clicking on the appropriate checkbox or boxes if multiple points apply. Just to note, supervision includes both probation and parole supervision. So there we're looking at active supervision. Now you will indicate the actual activity completed by using the drop-down menu to choose from the list of 65 choices. In your reference guide, there will be a glossary provided which includes a definition for each of the 65 activities. It's extremely important that you select the appropriate activity. So please read carefully through them, understand them. Should you have any questions, you can contact us researchers, and we'll be able to direct you in the appropriate way. Something else to bring your attention, that there are 3 activities that if you select them require you choose a sub-activity, which you can see under the activity page on the screenshot here. Those 3 activities include assessments, icon data entry, and transfer case. So for each selected activity, indicate the appropriate choice using the sub-activity drop-down menu. Okay. Now, I should note, for transfer case, you will not select that as the activity if you're working with an interstate compact case. In fact, interstate compact is a separate activity that you can select. Okay, so transfer case activity is only applicable to in-state, in-office, across those types of transfers of cases. Again, interstate compact cases are their own separate activity. So once you have selected the activity and sub-activity, if applicable, you will need to document the amount of time in minutes you spent on the activity with respect to travel, waiting, and actually completing the activity. And as you can see there are text boxes. In minutes, you will provide the time spent on each of those areas of the activity. For example, say the activity you chose was attend and testify a court hearing. Well, it may have taken you 15 minutes to drive from your office to the courthouse. You then waited 30 minutes for the case to be called by the judge. Then the hearing took about 30 minutes, and then finally you drove back to the office, which took another 15 minutes. In this case, you would type 30 minutes in for travel, 30 minutes for waiting, and 30 minutes for activity. Finally, you will indicate the outcome of the activity and whether you had adequate time to complete the activity by using the drop-down menus. Each one of these has 3 options. For outcome, you will select completed if you did in fact complete the activity. Another option is more work needed if you are unable to fully complete the activity and plan to continue working on it, and referred if you made a referral to a program or agency. The choices are straightforward for adequate time, so there's no need to really clarify those. The last piece of information you will document is whether you faced any challenges while completing the activity by clicking on the appropriate check boxes. We ask you to use your own discretion in selecting the challenges for each activity completed. Once you've entered all the information, you will want to save it. Here you have 3 options to proceed. 1, you can click Save Activity if you do not have any other activities to document, and that will return you to the activity summary page. 2, you can click Save and Create New at the bottom, as you see at the bottom of this page, if you would like to enter documentation for a new activity without using existing information you've already provided. So if you click that, you will be redirected to a completely blank activity information page. And then lastly, you can click Save and Create New with this information if you would like to enter documentation for a new activity using the same information that you have for a saved activity. For example, again, if any persons were involved, if it was associated with offender, his or her ID, the method, place, and system point in which the activity occurred. If you click on that, you will be redirected to a blank activity information page with only the aforementioned information repopulated. Now here are a list of all the different options, or I should say choices, for the different options you choose as it relates to the activity. Here are the list of persons involved. Here are the different methods in which an activity can occur. And again, computer is referring to any type of software program that you're using on Access. That's different than certainly email, or even if you're interacting with someone virtually, like via Skype, for example. In phone, it doesn't matter if you're using the office phone, your cell phone. Just indicate that as a method. And as you'll note, for some reason, if you don't think any of these methods are applicable, you can choose Other and then specify in the Notes section on the Activity Information page what method you used. Here are the list of different places that you can choose from using the drop-down menu. Again, Other is an option that you can choose from and document and describe the place in the Notes section. Here are the system points. And again, most likely, if you select Interstate Compact as a system point, well, you're also going to select Interstate Compact as the activity that you're conducting. Now, again, we have 65 different activities. And again, we have a reference guide that will provide you with a glossary defining each of these activities. So certainly encourage you to use that guide. And as I mentioned, 3 of the activities, if you select them, you will be required to select a sub-activity. So for instruments, or for assessment, screening, and scoring, here are the list of instruments that you can choose from. If you select icon data entry as the activity, here are the list of sub-activities you choose, or options that you'll choose for this particular sub-activity, the type of entry. And then lastly, if you choose transfer case as your activity, here are the list. And again, I just want to reiterate that this does not include interstate compact cases. That is a separate activity. And as I mentioned a moment ago, the time spent, note how long in minutes it took you to complete those different aspects of the activity. And then the outcome codes and the adequate time codes. So with adequate time codes, excuse me, If you did complete the activity, but you felt like, and again, using your own discretion, you needed more time to complete it, then please mark that appropriately. And here are the different challenges that you can choose from. Again, using your own discretion to choose. You're certainly able to select more than one challenge per activity that's complete. And then lastly, just a few things to remember. Please document data actively on at least a daily basis. In fact, we encourage you to set aside some time per day to document all completed activities for that day. We encourage you to consult with your supervisor, your other colleagues that may be participating in the study, as far as coming up with a plan prior to the study of how you plan to document the details of your activities that you complete. And as I mentioned, if information related to an activity is not listed, please select Other and provide a description in the Notes section. And then as you'll see here, the time study is going to be 4 weeks, starting Monday, September 26th through Friday, October 21st. It will be continuously through those 4 weeks. If you have any questions as you begin to participate in the study about, for example, maybe you're not sure what particular activity you should select, or maybe any other type of technical questions, please first contact Dr. D. Bell. Her information is provided on the screen. And as well as you can contact me as a secondary choice. Now, our information will also be provided in the reference guide that you will receive. Okay. So just like to thank you for your participation in this study, and we look forward to receiving your results. And if you have any questions, again, please contact Dr. Bell or myself. Thank you very much, and that concludes this training session.